stories about Andre's drinking are almost another level of mythology from the man himself. Andre was certainly, one of, if not the greatest drinker that ever lived.
Hollywood has always been known for its glittering red carpets, dazzling premieres, and glamorous parties, where champagne glasses clink and cameras flash. To outsiders, it seems like the ultimate dream: success, fame, and fortune. But behind the glitz and glamour, many stars were battling demons that the bright lights could not hide. For some, the bottle wasn't a celebration, it was a constant companion. Drinking in Hollywood wasn't always about fun. For many, it became a curse that destroyed careers, relationships, and even lives. Some of the most beloved and talented actors, who seemed untouchable on screen, were secretly consumed by alcohol. Their stories are filled with staggering amounts of alcohol, wild parties, shocking incidents, and moments that sound almost unreal. They drank to numb pain, escape pressure, or simply survive the relentless expectations of Hollywood. In many cases, their drinking wasn't just a personal issue. It affected everyone around them, from co-stars and directors to family and fans. This article explores 30 celebrities whose lives were dominated by alcohol, revealing a side of Hollywood rarely shown in magazines or movies. From legends of the silver screen to modern-day stars, these tales show that fame and fortune can't always protect anyone from the devastating grip of addiction. Their stories are both cautionary and tragic, and they offer a rare glimpse into the human side of these iconic figures. Whether it was using alcohol to cope with physical pain, emotional trauma, or personal struggles, these actors turned to drinking in ways that became legendary, shocking, and sometimes deadly. Behind the red carpet smiles and award speeches, there was a darker reality. Some survived decades of abuse and came back stronger, while others never had the chance to recover. Every sip, every bottle, and every blackout tells a story not just of indulgence, but of struggle, loss, and the price of fame. From Andre the Giant's staggering tolerance to Elizabeth Taylor's tumultuous love life intertwined with drinking, the stories show a wide range of experiences, some comical, some heartbreaking, and all unforgettable. It's a journey through Hollywood history, where talent and excess collided in ways that changed lives forever. As we count down these 30 stars, it becomes clear that fame does not equal happiness, and no amount of success can shield someone from the consequences of addiction. These are the human stories behind the headlines, a reminder that even the brightest stars can fall into shadows cast by their own choices and the pressures of fame. Andre the Giant is one of the most legendary figures in both wrestling and pop culture, and part of his legend comes from stories about his extraordinary drinking. Standing at 7 feet 4 inches tall and weighing over 500 pounds, Andre was not just a giant in stature, but also in his ability to consume alcohol. Tales of him drinking 119 beers in 6 hours have become almost mythological, with bartenders reportedly giving up trying to keep count. But for Andre, drinking was never simply about fun or showing off. It was a necessity. His enormous frame, caused by a condition called acromegaly, put incredible stress on his bones and joints, leaving him in constant pain. Simple everyday movements could be agony, and alcohol became his most reliable painkiller. While many people associate fame with luxury and parties, for Andre, the bottle was a way to cope with a life that his body had made extraordinarily difficult. Promoters of wrestling events knew about his drinking tolerance and sometimes factored it into their budgets, setting aside thousands of dollars for his bar tabs. One night in Kansas City, Andre reportedly ran up a tab of $40,000 while buying rounds for an entire hotel. Despite the enormous amounts he drank, Andre often barely showed the effects, a testament to his unique physiology and tolerance. But the drinking came at a cost. Wrestlers and staff would tell stories of finding him passed out in hotel lobbies, completely immovable due to his size, and security guards would simply cover him with a piano blanket to let him sleep it off. Beyond the physical pain, Andre was aware that his life would likely be shorter than average. Doctors had warned him in his 20s that his heart might give out early because of his condition. Each drink was not just a moment of relief, but a borrowed piece of time to live fully despite his illness. Andre's life was a mix of awe-inspiring achievements and personal struggles. In the ring, he amazed crowds with his strength and charisma, becoming one of the most beloved wrestlers in history. Outside the ring, his drinking stories added to his larger-than-life persona, blending admiration and concern. While some may remember him for the sheer size and talent, others remember the price he paid to manage his pain through alcohol. His death in 1993 at the age of 46 in a Paris hotel room was a tragic end to a life filled with both incredible feats and unimaginable suffering. Andre the Giant's story is not simply about drinking excessively. It is about a man battling a body that betrayed him, using alcohol as a coping mechanism, and leaving behind a legacy that continues to fascinate people decades later. His story is a reminder that behind the legends and myths of Hollywood and sports, there are real human struggles, and sometimes the most heroic acts are simply surviving each day despite pain and adversity. Andre's drinking, while legendary, was a symptom of deeper challenges, a mixture of medical necessity, personal struggle, and the loneliness that can accompany a life spent towering over everyone else. Even today, fans remember him not just for the drinks or the stories, but for the man who managed to live a giant's life under circumstances that would break most people. In that way, Andre the Giant remains one of Hollywood and wrestling's most unforgettable figures, a cautionary tale wrapped in awe-inspiring mythology. Mickey Rourke is a name that evokes memories of a Hollywood star with smoldering looks, magnetic charm, and undeniable talent. In the early 1980s, he was one of the most sought-after actors in the industry, landing roles in films like 9.5 Weeks that showcased not only his talent, but also his raw screen presence. With such fame, it would seem like he had everything: money, admiration, and opportunities. But behind the glamorous facade, Rourke struggled with a different kind of battle. His relationship with alcohol became increasingly destructive, affecting both his personal and professional life. Unlike some stars who only occasionally indulged, Rourke drank nearly every day, letting whiskey and other spirits dictate his actions, decisions, and behavior. It wasn't just a matter of getting drunk for fun. His drinking intertwined with his life choices in ways that cost him dearly. In 1991, Rourke attempted to switch careers, stepping into the boxing ring, a world far more punishing than Hollywood lights and movie sets. However, his reliance on alcohol continued, and it frequently made him appear at matches already intoxicated. This reckless behavior led to brutal consequences. Taking punches while drunk, he not only risked permanent physical damage, but also put his life on the line, blurring the line between self-destruction and determination. Directors and producers quickly noticed the pattern. Film sets became challenging to manage, as Rourke would often arrive late or passed out in his trailer. Empty bottles scattered around him became as much a part of his persona as his acting talent. Relationships crumbled under the weight of alcohol-fueled choices, friendships strained, and financial stability began to erode. By the late 1990s, the man who had once been a Hollywood heartthrob was living in a modest apartment for $500 a month, a shadow of the star he once was. Plastic surgery attempts and bad decisions on and off camera left visible scars, a testament to the years of indulgence and chaos. Even when Rourke tried to make a comeback, such as in The Wrestler in 2008, the line between art and reality blurred. His role in that film mirrored his life story, a washed-up fighter and former star trying to reclaim glory while haunted by past mistakes. In interviews, he admitted that filming the movie forced him to confront his own history with addiction, career missteps, and lost opportunities. The character he played wasn't fictional. It was a reflection of his own struggles, a performance intertwined with personal truth. Rourke's story illustrates the extreme highs and lows of Hollywood life, where fame and talent cannot shield someone from addiction. While his talent brought him acclaim, his drinking almost cost him everything, including health, reputation, and even life itself. Yet, the story is not entirely tragic. Rourke's comeback demonstrates that recovery and redemption are possible, even after years of self-destruction. It shows the resilience of human will and the ability to transform pain and past mistakes into meaningful work. Still, The lessons from Mickey Rourke's journey are clear. Fame can amplify both the rewards and the dangers of life in the spotlight, and alcohol, when used as an escape, can easily spiral out of control. His experience is a powerful reminder that behind the glimmer of Hollywood, there are real human struggles, and even stars with talent, money, and opportunity are not immune to the perils of addiction. The story of Mickey Rourke is a portrait of a man at war with himself, a cautionary tale for anyone who believes that charm and fame can protect against the harsh realities of personal choices and consequences. Robert Downey Jr. is now celebrated as one of Hollywood's greatest comeback stories, known worldwide for his role as Tony Stark in the Iron Man and Avengers films. However, before his triumphant return to the screen, Downey's life was marked by years of addiction, legal troubles, and personal chaos. His story begins early, shaped by family influences and early exposure to drugs and alcohol. Downey's father, Robert Downey Sr., thought it would be harmless or even funny to give his 8-year-old son a joint at a party. While it may have seemed innocent at the time, this early introduction to substances set the stage for a lifetime of struggles. By the age of 22, Downey was already using cocaine heavily, often between takes while working on shows like Saturday Night Live. His addiction quickly escalated, and by the 1990s, it had taken a dramatic toll on both his career and his personal life. Arrests became frequent, each one more shocking than the last. There were reports of him breaking into neighbors' homes, walking barefoot through the streets of Los Angeles, and being found with cocaine, heroin, and even firearms in his car. Each mugshot seemed to document a man slowly disappearing before the public's eyes. Producers refused to hire him, insurance companies would not cover him, and friends feared for the safety of their families when he was around. Yet despite these overwhelming challenges, Downey's story also contains the beginnings of resilience. Repeated stints in jail eventually forced him to confront the severity of his situation. He faced multiple legal and personal consequences that most would find insurmountable. Prison, while harsh, became a turning point. It was during these low points that Downey began to recognize that he could not continue down the path he was on. The road to recovery was not immediate or easy. It required dedication, therapy, and the support of those who refused to give up on him. In 2003, a significant shift occurred when he committed to sobriety, crediting therapy, martial arts, and the steadfast support of his wife, Susan Downey, for helping him maintain it. This personal transformation allowed him to rebuild both his career and his life. In 2008, Downey was cast as Iron Man, a role that would redefine Hollywood and solidify his comeback. The studios that once avoided him now relied on his talent to anchor a billion-dollar franchise. What makes Downey's story particularly remarkable is the transparency with which he acknowledges his past. He keeps old mugshots in his office as reminders of what can happen when addiction is allowed to take control. Each film, each successful project, is a testament to his conscious choice to abstain from substances and reclaim his life. Unlike many celebrities who continue to hide or minimize their past struggles, Downey has embraced his journey, using it as a powerful narrative of redemption and resilience. His story illustrates both the dangers of early exposure to substances and the incredible potential for recovery, even when circumstances seem hopeless. From nearly destroying his career and personal relationships to becoming one of the most beloved and bankable stars in modern Hollywood, Robert Downey Jr. shows that while addiction can devastate, commitment, support, and determination can rebuild even the most broken lives. Today, his life is not only a cautionary tale but also a source of inspiration, proving that it is possible to rise from the depths of addiction to achieve greatness, both professionally and personally. Richard Harris was one of those actors whose talent was undeniable and whose personality was unforgettable. With a commanding presence on stage and screen, he became a favorite of directors, critics, and audiences alike. But alongside his brilliance as an actor, Harris developed a reputation for excessive drinking that became as legendary as his performances. In the 1970s, his daily routine included consuming 2 bottles of vodka, followed by a bottle of brandy and a bottle of port every night. This was not a casual habit or occasional indulgence. It was a lifestyle that defined much of his adult life. Harris was known to forget even the most basic responsibilities, including owning a Rolls-Royce that he parked in a New York garage and completely forgot about for years. 25 years later, he stumbled upon a photograph of the car, remembered it, and was stunned to find he owed over $92,000 in parking fees. His drinking affected everything, from his relationships to his career, and even caused physical danger. During the filming of Hawaii, Harris reportedly became so intoxicated on a local cocktail that he attempted to control traffic with his fists in the streets, a wild and reckless act that terrified onlookers. The actor's excessive drinking eventually took a serious toll on his health. In 1981, doctors told him he had only 18 months to live due to liver and kidney failure, compounded by constant vomiting and bleeding. In true Richard Harris fashion, he decided to throw one final, extravagant 3-day goodbye party at his favorite London pub, ordering rare bottles of wine at exorbitant prices. Yet, in an unexpected twist, Harris survived this health crisis. He quit drinking cold turkey and maintained sobriety for 10 years. While he eventually allowed himself a pint of Guinness each night, he never returned to the chaos of vodka, brandy, and port. Harris's story illustrates the extremes of Hollywood excess. He could drink himself into oblivion and still perform at a level that few could match. His talent never disappeared despite years of reckless drinking, but his health and personal life bore the scars. He continued to act with brilliance and intensity, proving that his skill and charisma were not entirely diminished by alcohol. Richard Harris passed away in 2002 from Hodgkin's disease, surprisingly not directly from liver failure or complications of alcohol. Yet his legend as a heavy drinker remained, a symbol of both the allure and danger of Hollywood excess. He embodied the paradox of talent and self-destruction, showing that some of the brightest stars could also be their own worst enemies. His story is a mix of tragedy, resilience, and remarkable survival, a cautionary tale for anyone who believes that talent alone can protect them from addiction. Harris's life serves as a reminder that fame and brilliance cannot shield anyone from the consequences of alcohol, and that even in the face of mortality, change and redemption are possible if one has the will to confront their demons. Peter O'Toole is remembered as one of the greatest actors of his generation, known for his commanding presence, intense performances, and legendary roles in films like Lawrence of Arabia. But behind the charm and brilliance, O'Toole lived a life dominated by alcohol, often in ways that seemed almost unimaginable. He openly admitted that he could not remember an entire decade of his life. The 1960s simply disappeared into a haze of drinking. The story goes that he remembered the beginning and the end of the decade, but had zero recollection of everything in between. Despite this, O'Toole continued to deliver Oscar-nominated performances, act on stage, and maintain his professional reputation, showing an almost miraculous ability to function under extreme intoxication. His drinking was so severe that directors had to carefully plan when he would perform. Many realized it was pointless to schedule him after noon because by then, he would be too inebriated to act reliably. To manage his behavior, studios went so far as to build a private bar on set, a dedicated space to keep him contained and somewhat functional during